So
yeah, well, it was vinyl or the old tape cassettes, but vinyl, that's them. You always had a pencil in your car in case they got all stuck in your car player. You'd have to wind them back up because the tape would come out. But there's some warmth or something to vinyl music when it's played. It has a different. I don't know what the warmth is. Somebody explained it to me in scientific terms why it's warmer. There's something to do with the wave signals or something. But you just feel it anyway. It's a different sound for sure.
Hey everyone, welcome. Oh, sorry. Hey everyone, or we should say, good day, mate. How you doing? How's everyone doing out there? This is your host Brian right here from the All Music Matters on That podcast, and today, and he gave it away here too. We're hailing from Australia. We welcome our boy Harro. How you doing today, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks, mate. Yep, it's a bit cold here. It was 1 degree Celsius, I think, when I got up this morning, so a bit chilly.
I would say that explains the Eskimo outfit going on right there too.
Yeah. I don't like the cold weather much.
Do tell. So we're kind of the same way. It's a little cooler out here, but still in the 60s, and I think it's gotten to 50s right now. But it's pretty damn overcast out here too. So
yeah.
I guess outside of that, what you been up to recently? What's this I hear about you and Steven, aka Burles Band, doing something together?
Yeah, well, yes, we've been working a project called Burles Brotherhood, and with Joe Boo and Frank Farrell. Frank lives 2 doors down the road from me in this little town we live in. So we're working on an EP, a themed EP, like a concept album, if you like, and we've done 3 songs from the concept album so far, or 4 maybe. But I had Steven staying at our house recently for quite a few weeks. He went all the way to Florida to visit Joe Boo, and then came all the way to Coolin here where we live to say good day. And he stayed at our place for a while, and there was way too much drinking and lots of fun. And we did a gig here at the local pub as well. So that was fantastic. It was great. It was great to meet him. He's like my brother, really.
Yeah, good old Steven. He treats everyone like a family member there too. So good to see he's out and about there too. So you know what? I think I saw his post. He was in Florida, and I was going to ask him when he coming up to my neck of the woods of Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh. So, but I think he was already on his way to Australia at that point. So too late.
Well, he flew by New York. That's close, isn't it, to there?
It's a little bit north of me. So
yeah, he got stuck there. He missed his flight. Got stuck there for 24 hours. So, excuse me, I just got a message. Oh, that's right. Yes, but we're loving doing the Burles Brotherhood stuff. It's really liberating. Steven just comes up with a song idea, sends it to me, and I sort of cut a few bits out or put a few bits in sometimes, and then I get Frank round, we put some bass and drums on it, and then it gets sent to Joe, and he comes up with all the lyrics and melodies for it, and but we all do our own thing, really, and if someone doesn't particularly like something, we're quite happy to say that to the other person. It rarely happens, to be honest, but there's no egos involved. Everyone just does their bit, and the songs are getting better and better. So absolutely loving that. It's the freedom of it to express yourself.
That's all pretty cool. I guess, do you have an ETA when this concept album might come out, or are we still kind of waiting for more songs to produce?
We've got, I think we've got 2 more to finish. So it just depends on everybody's time, in life, when they can get it done. But now that Steven's back home, I would suggest a couple of months, I reckon. We'll have it done.
All right, sounds good. And I guess your friend Frank, I guess, what's everyone's role with the band? I guess, I don't know. I know Joe Boo's going to be the singer, but I guess what role does everyone else kind of play on this concept album?
All right. Well, Stephen's the main guitarist, and he writes the music initially. He comes up with the initial ideas, and he usually sends them with his own vocals as well. But he allows Joe to do whatever he wants with the lyrics. So Joe is 100% lyrics and vocals. I do the drums, and I'll add a bit of guitar if I think it's warranted, or some keyboards or whatever. And I'm doing all the production as well, which is good because I'm sort of pretty heavily into that and getting better at it. So it's good for me. And Frank is our bass player. So he wanders up the road 2 houses every now and then and plugs his bass in and pumps out these amazing bass tracks and then goes home again.
That's pretty cool. All right. Can't wait to see what your boys got right there too. So keep us posted on the socials. So.
Oh yeah, we are. We were a bit off the socials for a bit because Stephen was here and we didn't really get into the social. We were socialising, but not on Facebook much. So.
We were doing the other socializing, going out to the pubs.
Yeah, the real stuff.
That's our socializing. That's what we did back in the day. So
yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, us millennials and Gen Xers and Zers kind of made it more internal now and digitally instead of the whole pub deal. That's kind of change has happened the last 20, 30 years. So sorry about that.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I probably personally don't think it's for the better, but I think face to face and is a lot better than in a world where you can be anyone. You can be anyone you want online, sort of thing, and so you don't get so many real people, but there are real people out there.
Yeah, so just gotta go find them too. So
yeah.
All right, we'll get more into the music here just a little bit, but first off, Harro, welcome to my podcast. The way it's going to work is I just want to ask you some more questions, get to know you more, both as the musician, but also as the individual as well here too. And we'll also tie in our Burlos Brotherhood little project we're doing here too. So you ready?
I'm ready. Go for your life. I haven't rehearsed anything. I was going to go through some of the questions that you sort of prompted me, but I'll do it all off the top of my head.
That's already what we're supposed to do in this case, but let's see what sort of studying he's done. All right. Okay. The first question kind of delves into you and kind of your background a little bit. So fill the audience about your story about how you became a musician.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I always loved music when I was a kid, as far back as I can remember. And like most people my age, your musical influences came from your parents' record collection. So I had, a wide range of influences, stuff like Henry Mancini and Neil Diamond, early Neil Diamond stuff. And even so, they had a classical record I used to put on and dance around the lounge room when I was really, really young. But I never did any musical stuff at school apart from the recorder, like everybody does, I think, or used to. But I always had sort of little songs in my head all the time, just things I'd think of and be humming along myself. But I didn't even play an instrument until I was 21. So I was actually out socialising like we used to do. And a friend of mine saw me tapping on my legs, along to whatever music was playing. And he said, "Oh, you should buy a drum kit, mate. I'm a bass player. We'll go and have a jam." And I'm like, "I don't know the first thing about drums." And he said, "Doesn't matter, just do it." And he basically bullied me into it. And I'm so glad he did. So that was how I started. So I just taught myself everything, started on drums, which would be my main instrument, but, I play a bit of everything nowadays. And been in many different bands over the years, a few original bands, some cover bands. I've just always had my hand in music. And then in the last probably 10 years, I've got more serious about writing and recording my own stuff seriously. I've always done it. I can remember having a little 4-track Yamaha tape recorder that you could, and I've still got recordings of some songs I did on that way back when, but they were pretty rough and ready. But yeah, I'm not going to stop. I'll be doing this until I can't, really.
That's already what they say. It's like, I'm going to keep doing this till God willingly takes me home. That old deal. So, that deal. So,
yeah.
So obviously 21, that's kind of when you got into the whole drumming deal. I guess, how'd you pick up some of the other instruments? Which is kind of a curiosity in order to like pick up guitar, keys, and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I just always wanted to write songs, I think. And obviously, as a drummer, I was hanging out with real musicians quite a bit. And every now and then we'd have a jam session. I'd just pick up a bass or a guitar, and really I didn't even know what I was doing, but I had an ear and I could do enough to be a part of it. And then I just bought myself an old bass and an old guitar, really, and a little keyboard that was about this big, little tiny thing, and just started writing my own stuff. I never did any study on any instrument. I just played all by ear and sort of learnt from watching, listening. That was my study, watching other people play and listening to them and playing with them, really.
Normally we would call that YouTubing, but I think in your day it was the actual studying where you had to visually watch other people maybe do it. So I guess...
yeah, well, it was well before YouTube. Yeah, well before any of that when I started. Yeah.
That's for sure. So I guess, what was your reaction when YouTube and some of the other stuff started coming out? Did you kind of hop on the bandwagon a little later?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember when it all started, but I've always been quite up with the technology because of music, because it's so good now, isn't it? I mean, you can listen to and find anything you want pretty much now if you go looking. If you want, a video or just streaming music, it's actually been really good for me getting into the indie music scene, because I was getting, I felt really stale inside. The music that was on the commercial radios was not doing it for me in any way. And getting into indie music, like, people are making stuff with their soul and their heart, and that's what does it for me. And so it's brought me to life as well, and it's inspired me. Every indie musician I listen to inspires me. I might not even like the song, but I know what they're going through to make it, So it's really inspiring. Everyone, and we all inspire each other. I'm sure we do.
That's for sure. I guess, have you lived in Australia your whole life, or have you? I don't know. It sounds like your accent's more like UK, to be honest. It's like you came over to Australia.
Well, that's a good pickup, because I've been here since I was about 18 months old, so I really don't have much of a UK accent, but maybe that's you. Maybe you're just hearing that, but possibly. I don't know. But yeah, most of my life here, I can't remember the UK apart from when I've been back to visit a couple of times. But
I mean, I've interviewed a good number of people out of the UK, so I tend to know I try to know the whole accent there too, so that's why I was curious at first. So, all right.
Maybe it's because Stephen was here for so long.
He's passing on to you now, that whole thing. It's like an infectious disease in a way. So it's like, God damn it, Stephen. So
yeah, it's all his fault. Yeah.
I guess so. I guess, speaking of which, I guess, how'd you, Stephen, and Frank meet? I guess, was this more of a recent kind of get together? Have you kind of you guys known each other a little bit for maybe a couple of years now?
A few years. So I met Stephen through Facebook, as we meet a lot of people now, and we just started chatting just generally at first about life, the universe and everything, and music, and then I asked if I could sort of add to a couple of his songs, because I thought I could do something with them. And he said, yeah, sure. And I said, oh, there's a bloke up the road, Frank I'd met. I moved to this place, Coolin. It's only, there's only 350 people in this town. It's tiny. And we moved here about 4 years ago now, and I met Frank within the first 12 months, and I can't even remember how, to be honest. And then but we got chatting, and it turned out that he lives 2 doors down, and he's a bass player. So I thought, this sounds good. Could get a band or something going. Anyway, when we decided to do the Burlos, what did we call that? Burlos Old Bastards, we called ourselves, or bastards in your language. So I would just put a drum track and some bit of keyboard and some sound effects sometimes, and get Frank up here, and he would come in my studio and put a bass track down, and then that was our first sort of. That was the early onset of Burlos Brotherhood, I think. We just redid a few of Stephen's older songs, and then we did a couple of hours of our own as well, a couple of originals, and it just grew from there. But only a few years, and I've only met Joe Boo, or chatted with Joe Boo since the Burlos Brotherhood thing started, and he's a terrific bloke as well. Really, really, really humble, down to earth, but really confident guy, and a pleasure to work with. I've learned quite a few production tips off him as well, just because he's been in the industry for a long time. So we're all growing from this. It's really good for us all.
That's good to hear. Yeah, good old Joe. Actually, I think it's now been a couple of years since I had actually interviewed him, and I think at that point he was still in rain and fire at the moment. It seemed like he wasn't being as spread out with all the projects that he was doing as he's probably doing right now. So,
well, he's pretty much in every band that's on Facebook, isn't he? I don't know. There's quite a few.
Something like that, but it wouldn't surprise me at this point. So, hats off to Joe Boo. Thank you, Joe, for all that you do out there too. So,
yeah, he's awesomely talented. Yeah.
That's for sure. I guess some of the bands you had mentioned earlier, I guess even kind of growing up and after get bullied into playing drums and that sort of stuff. I guess it sounded like you were in numerous bands. I think some original, some cover, and I don't know if you said tribute band, but can you just kind of give the audience a little history about all the bands you have been in up until this point?
Yeah, I have to think back now. Early days. I moved to a little town called Margaret River, which is sort of a hippie, at the time was a hippie town. It's a bit more upmarket now. But yeah, peace and love and lots of drugs. But
I mean,
so I used to, only lived there for not even a year, but I used to play every day with all different people. And we had a couple of little bands that we got together. I even played in a jug band and played the washboard, so. But there was nothing of note there. And then my girlfriend got pregnant, so we moved up to Darwin. I had to get my hair cut and get a real job, the old story. So we moved up to Darwin, and I got into a band. We called ourselves Metrics up there, and we were writing quite a few original songs. But also, you used to always do covers as well, because you couldn't get a gig otherwise. It was difficult to get gigs. So you used to blend your originals in with the cover songs. So we did that, and we played at quite a big festival, outdoor festival up there called Darwin River Rocks, and that was I don't know. There was probably, when we played, there was probably a couple of thousand people there. So that was a pretty big deal for all of us, because we were novices really at what we did. So that was cool. And then my girlfriend left and took my son with her. So I ended up coming back to Western Australia, and sort of I wasn't into music for a little while. I was still getting myself together, and then I joined a band called Hybrid, and they had a different name when I joined them, The Chosen Few, and then we decided we didn't like that name, so we put a bunch of suggestions in a hat, band name suggestions, and I can't remember who pulled it out and said blah 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 blah, and then everyone goes, oh no, we don't like that one, so it was useless putting it in a hat. Anyway, we went with Hybrid, and the music, those guys were super talented. Some of the songs we did, I loved them, and some of them I've put on Spotify as well, so they're still out there. And that went really well. And then we recorded a 6-track EP. That's the one that's on Spotify. And we were sort of starting to get noticed. And then our bass player did his back in, like really like severe, chronic, and couldn't even stand up for a long time. So he had to leave. And the guitarist got a scholarship to go and study at university in Tasmania, which is miles from here. So he went. So really the band just dissolved all of a sudden when we were sort of felt like, well, I felt like we were going to go somewhere. But such is life. After that was mainly cover bands. We just we didn't even practice. We just get gigs and go and play a bunch of songs. And I used to do a lot of, I did drums and lead vocals a lot, sort of probably 70%. And I was horrible at remembering lyrics. And I used to have lyric sheets, but it wasn't like today where you can Google it and copy and paste. So I had to sit with a tape and work them all out. And some I couldn't even work out, so I'd just make stuff up. Even if I couldn't remember, as long as you knew the chorus, you were sweet. Everyone was happy. So it was cover bands then for a while, and then I was in and out of doing any music, and then I started focusing on recording. Really, after that, probably about 10 years ago. So, but we've got a little band in Coolin now that when we whip together to do a gig with Stephen, and the three of us are going to keep going and doing a few shows around here, which will be fun.
That sounds pretty cool. That's interesting history there too. So, I was going to say, some of the stuff you were covering too, were you doing Pink Floyd or maybe some of the UK sort of music there with Black Sabbath, those sorts of bands, or just kind of like jump around? I don't know.
I jumped around to it. It was a lot of it was hard rock stuff in the main. You say Black Sabbath. When I was in Darwin, I was in a cover band for a while, and we were mainly older Black Sabbath sort of stuff. Which I don't know why I did that, because I had to sing and play the drums, and I don't know if you know their old songs, but the drums are complicated on a lot of those songs. Yeah. And I mean, I'm no Bill Ward, but, I used to get by. And then, later on, it was always sort of rock-based. We did a bit of Pink Floyd here and there, Pearl Jam, old stuff like The Doors and Hendrix, or, just good pub rock music. And a lot of Aussie stuff that some of you may or may not have heard of, like the Angels and Rose Tattoo and bands like that.
Well, so you struck me as someone who would do British punk. So like what you got with Sex Pistols, those sorts of groups.
No. I mean, I didn't mind the Sex Pistols because I've always liked guitar-driven rock. I sort of, when I started getting to my own music when I was young, sort of 10 upwards, it was all AC/DC and Status Quo, which are British, and Sweet, which are another British band, but, I just liked their music, and that was it was always guitar and drum-driven music that got me.
I was like, Sweet, boy. You can think of the Ballroom Blitz and all that sort of stuff, especially with the high pitch, I won't say scream, but kind of the soprano that the guy was doing in that song.
Yeah. Well, that's one of their singles. If you dig deep into their stuff, they were quite a good rock band. Like they rock pretty hard when you dig deep. Their singles were real poppy and cheesy sort of thing, but yeah, they've got some really good stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those. They're missing out on the golden moments. That's their stuff. So
yeah. Although Ballroom Blitz is actually a really good song. I quite like it still.
That's pretty cool. So
yeah.
I guess when you even were starting out on drumming, I guess who were you kind of looking up to in terms of influence? I know you mentioned about Bill Ward there too. So was he among the list, or I guess who else influenced you in terms of drums?
Yeah, definitely Bill Ward, but that was later. I didn't even get into Sabbath until a little bit later. But definitely him. He'd be one of my. I think he's probably my all-time favourite, actually. And Mick Tucker from Sweet, because that was what I listened to when I was young. And John Bonham, of course, who's everyone wants to be as good as he was, but I don't know that anybody can be, really. It's not the technicality, it's just the way he plays was amazing. So they would be my top three for sure.
I guess you never got into the prog rock. I don't know, like Jethro Tull, even Rush, those sorts of guys.
Yes are my biggest prog band that I like. So that Bill Bruford is pretty good, and Alan White as well. I mean, I have listened to Rush. For some reason, they don't do it for me. Not that I'm not well aware of how good Neil Peart was, but their music just doesn't resonate with me for some reason that much. Not that they're not good. I'm not saying that. Just doesn't appeal to me as much. I would prefer to listen to Yes most times, although some of their stuff was a bit too far off the planet for anyone, I think. But yeah, I love them from the start to wherever they're at now. I love their stuff.
I think the problem with Yes, it was either like Roundabout, and I always forget the second song, which was also a big hit too. But
Owner of a Lonely Heart. That's the other one.
Yeah, that's the other one. I keep forgetting that one. Damn it! So I don't listen to Yes too much. I just know about Roundabout. That's about it, really. So sorry.
Well, it was Owner of a Lonely Heart would have been the first song that I heard of theirs, and my best mate at the time. I'm sure we were about 16 or something, or 17. Bought the CD. No, it was vinyl. Still vinyl then. And that's how old I am. Fuck me. Anyway, and we we listened to that album so many times, and and that just made me want to look back. When I heard how good they were, I thought I need to look back. So I went way back, and they've got so much good stuff. If you're into progressive rock, I mean, their other stuff's way more progressive than Owner of a Lonely Heart. That was like a pop song, really. But, yeah.
But actually, the whole thing with the vinyl thing, it seems like there was kind of a resurgence of people wanting to collect them, I guess. Has there been kind of that in Australia? I don't know, just maybe not you, but maybe some other people you know?
I just know that vinyl's made a massive comeback now, and I think I think in the States and the UK that I know of, they sell more vinyl every year than CDs now. It can be Googled, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
I don't know why, but I mean, like, it's kind of tucked over there. It's kind of a little vinyl player that you just put it right in. They just let it play once the needle comes down. So
yeah.
I think you can see it, but because we narrow the screen down for everyone's sake right here. So normally we have it pretty spread out. So, all right. But we still have there too. I know my dad, he still has a good vinyl collection over there. So I have to one day just whip it out. Maybe see why everyone technically liked it back in the day, even though it was like the only way you could purchase music back then. So
yeah, well, it was vinyl or the old tape cassettes, but vinyl, that's them. You always had a pencil in your car in case they got all stuck in your car player. You'd have to wind them back up because the tape would come out. But there's some warmth or something to vinyl music when it's played. It has a different. I don't know what the warmth is. Somebody explained it to me in scientific terms why it's warmer. There's something to do with the wave signals or something, but. You just feel it anyway. It's a different sound for sure.
If you guys have it something science, you tend to wonder how much that person's actually paying attention who's not very scientific, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, but I just want to feel it. You don't have to get into too much of the technicality terms, that sort of stuff. So,
I was just interested to hear the explanation, and it sort of half made sense to me. But yeah, you just feel it.
That sort of thing. All right. I guess even based on your experience, up to this point here too. It also kind of does to the challenges that you've kind of faced throughout your life being a musician. I guess what challenges have you faced back then, being a drummer, musician, everything else, and then what challenges do you feel like you face today, being part of this brotherhood?
Challenges. Oh. Well, living where I've lived, the biggest challenge wasn't a challenge. It was just a fact of life. You usually had to travel quite a long way to get gigs. So you're talking, 2-3 hour drives to get to your gig, and then you've got to set up. But usually you would organise to get somewhere to stay overnight. I never did the band bus thing, which I would have loved to have done. Where you all go on tour on the road. But living in Perth like I did, hard to tour in Australia because the distances are so huge, and having been to the States last year, you have the same thing there too. Like the distances are enormous, so that's a big challenge to get gigs locally. And nowadays the challenge is there's just no venues anymore that put bands on much. More so here. I mean, I was in the States last year for Punk in the Corn, and there's still venues over there, and they still have bands, but that's just about dead here now. It was so good when I was a teenager that you could go out every weekend, and there was bands playing pretty much every night of the week, actually, bar Monday. I think you could see a band, and really it was random breath testing that killed that. We just used to drive around drunk. There was no cars on the road, so nobody even cared. No, I'm not saying it was a good thing, but that's what we did. And then random breath testing, and people couldn't go out because nobody wanted to be the skipper, and stay sober. So that the industry declined after that, the live music industry. So and I guess that challenge for me here is doing live gigs as well. There isn't the venues around, and especially I live quite a way out of the city as well. So that's the biggest challenge. I've never had a musical challenge, I suppose. I never think of things like that. I just go and do them.
I think the joke was after the breathalyzer test, it was almost like everyone was apparently drunk and they were probably driving all over the place. But it's like, I'm still alive, so apparently someone was driving right. That's their sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, even I had a couple of times where, I woke up in my bed one time and I didn't remember getting home, but I had driven home, and that scared me then. So I started thinking about it and not doing it. But it's not just that that's killed the industry, though. The live industry, it's DJs and a solo guy with a loop pedal. Bands don't get out much anymore because it's cheaper for venues to book one guy than 5 or 6. So, fact of life.
Sad but true. So I think it's the way. So I guess how bad did COVID kind of rock the music scene out of your neck of the woods and some parts of Australia you've been to that had probably a good music scene?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was on the decline then here, but I've got quite a few friends who are professional musicians, so they make their living out of it, and it right royally fucked them for a couple of years. So they were doing a lot, like everyone, they were doing live stream stuff to try and get a few coins in the kitty. And I think our state government here even had a fund to support artists who couldn't ply their trade, so to speak. So there was some support. It wasn't much, but no, that hit them big time. Big time.
And I guess, what about you? I guess you and the family, okay, as well as your close friends too.
Yeah, no, I no, the only I know two people who actually had issues from the COVID jab, who had heart issues from that. But I didn't lose anybody remotely close to me from COVID at all. So I don't know. It didn't affect me, apart from the fact that, you know, they restricted some travel for a little while here. Was just life as normal, really, apart from having to, you know, you couldn't. There was these weird times where you'd go to the pub and you couldn't stand up and drink, but then you'd have to go and stand at the bar to get a drink, and you weren't allowed to dance, and I don't know. It was all a bit strange. I don't. How were you affected there? Because it's hard to get. I don't trust the media, so it's better to talk to real people who experienced it. What was your experience?
That's why I tend to ask about it too, because normally you like to get a first-person perspective. But for me, I would say it was nice for me because I was able to work from home. I still kept my job. I was able to get up right at 8 o'clock and then just go right to my desk near my computer right there too. I could take a nap whenever I wanted to. So, I mean, like, it came with its perks. There were, on a serious note, there was been hard times, not so much because of COVID. I do lose some family members due to other health issues. So that was definitely the part that was the roughest about it. So,
yeah.
So, other than that, I would say the work from home at least allowed me to cancel my parking lease and save money on gas. So, I would like that part.
So you won.
Yeah.
You were a winner.
Technically, yeah. Also allowed me to also start this podcast here too. So that came in 2021. So we've been riding over 5 years right now with this podcast. So,
yeah, I mean, you've got a huge backlog of work, haven't you? I was having a look. I think I'm sure I watched your interview with Stephen. It was about 12 months ago or something, or I can't remember. But then, you know, when you contacted me, I was having a look, and you've done a lot of work.
I got myself busy. I used to usually do like 2 or 3 interviews a week. I still technically do 2, but it's like Monday and Friday. So
yeah,
it keeps a nice consistency and everything there too. So it's all good.
Oh, so if you love it, if you got passion for it, do it. That's what I think. Good on you.
Absolutely. The music thing, it kind of lumped into it because I was doing drum covers at one point on my YouTube channel. That's also kind of how the YouTube channel started. And I still technically did it up until last year with having both podcast interviews and drum covers all on my channel right there too. But I recently split them off to see how it goes. It's a bit of hard work, but we're making it work.
It is hard work. A few years ago, well, it's quite a few years ago now, I did a radio show I thought I'd put together at home and try and get somebody to play it, sort of thing. And I just did it based on Perth rock music, and I started. That's kind of how I got back into indie music, actually, because I started delving deep into the Perth music scene, and I was finding all these gems, and I would never have heard them otherwise. And but I think I did about 5 episodes, but it was a lot of work because I would always message someone. I wouldn't just put their song on the show. I'd always get permission, so it took time for people to get back to you, and you would have all these issues. Like, I couldn't talk to you yesterday because I had my shit on my back lawn, so it's but that was a lot of work. I did 5 shows, and it was a hell of a lot of work. So I know how much effort you put into doing these things, and I take my beanie off to you.
I was going to say, I give you a bow there too, mate. Unfortunately, I don't have a hat, so I can't tip my hat to you. So. All right. So, but on a serious note, it's good to see you and the family are doing well there too. So, you go strong.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, it's just me and Keza here, and Keza is a singer-songwriter now as well. She's written a couple of songs, and she's always she's a big influence on me, actually, and any music that I put out of my own, has a big chunk of Keza in it as well. She's a really good influence and gives me a kick in the bum when I need it, and gives me some great ideas. And we have a great partnership.
That's good. I think the other thing too is to not piss off the wife. That's her deal. So.
Yeah, she might be listening, so I was saying nice stuff.
We reserve the bad stuff for later. So yeah. Love you, babe. So
yeah, you're onto it.
Oh yeah. I'll trust me. I've seen how it works there too. So actually, how long have you guys been together? Because I know you talked about, I guess, your first wife. I don't know if you ever reached back out to try to reconcile at some point.
No. I've been married twice actually, so I was a slow learner. But anyway, no. Me and Keza have been together 5 years now. A little bit over.
That's good to hear. All right. We won't push anymore for knowing if you got back to your son there too for the first marriage, but it's up to you though. But I mean, do you want to talk about it, or do you just want to move on?
Oh, yeah, no. The first time I got married young, I was 19 when I got married, and we travelled a bit. Went to the UK and Europe for about 10 months, and then we moved to Kalgoorlie, which is a big gold mining town here. Some people, if anyone's into mining, they would have heard of it. But anyway, and then that just sort of drifted apart, I suppose. There wasn't any malice. But coincidentally, it was not long after I got into music, which she wasn't into. And I was just, once I got into playing, I was obsessed by it. And so we took different pathways. And then my second wife, when did we get married? 2006, I think. But we were together for quite a time before that. And then that I sort of dissolved that in 2018 because I just wasn't happy. It was a horrible time, actually. I wasn't happy at work, and I wasn't happy at home. I worked away where you fly to work. I worked at a gold mine, and I wasn't enjoying that anymore where I used to, and then I wasn't enjoying being at home. I'd get home and it was miserable, so I got rid of both things out of my life, and I've never looked back since. So that's good.
Yeah, I can understand the stress of life tends to get to you there too. So I can relate to that much. So
I think everybody can. Everybody has ups and downs, and it's how whether you come out of them well or whether you sink.
It's almost like, I do not need the stress right now. Everyone just fuck off. That whole deal.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did.
And a manner of speaking. So
yeah.
All right. But seriously though, good to see you doing well there, mate. Keep going strong.
Thanks.
All right. So I guess let's go and jump into the topic of gear. So I guess what do you got in terms of the drum set and any other instruments, and then what do you use for recording?
All right. Well, I can probably show you some stuff. I'll go mobile here. All right. Well, that's just a photo from Punk in the Corn. I'm just showing that because it's up on my laptop there. But gear. I'll start here. There's my interfaces. I've got a Scarlett 18i20 and a Behringer something or other that's got another 8 channels, because I have my drums hooked up with 10 channels when I record drums in the studio. So then I've got my HS8 monitors, and I've got a Pearl Vision drum kit, 7-piece. That's what makes the magic in my studio recordings. Sorry about my camera work. It's funny doing it like this. There's my old bass. Yeah. That's my old bass there, a Yamaha RBX 370. And here's my guitar rack. I've got a Fender Jazz bass here. An old scabby old Strat copy, and my beautiful Ibanez Gem series. and then PA system, my Vox amp, Vox AC30, and this is my recording booth that we built, where I've got everything stashed in here, and I've got a Lewitt, I think it's a LC440 vocal mic. I think I can expose it here. They're really nice little condenser mics. They're beautiful and got a good range of sound.
I guess a lot of that gear. Is a lot of that gear pretty recent, or have you had that for a good while?
The drum kit, I think I saw a Facebook memory come up. I bought in 2015, so that's quite old. My Gem guitar and my Vox amp, I only bought them last year, so I haven't even used them that much yet. And yeah, the rest of the gear, I mean, I've built up a lot of gear over the years. I'm not stupid with it. No, not really, because when like we had to do a live gig, I've got a lot of gear. It helps when you do gigs. So and I mean, I've been buying up gear since probably 2018 or so. So just building up. I've got loads of SM58s and SM57s, and I've got condenser mic. I've got all sorts of stuff that just for recording live and recording in my studio. So
that's pretty cool. I guess I was going to say I also do have the Scarlett 18920 here too, and I used to use it a good bit when I was using Skype for my interviews and everything. So
yeah,
so it doesn't get used too much more. It kind of just helps with getting the drum covers onto the DAW on my computer. So yeah, I always love it when I hear someone's got Scarlett. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's my second one. The first one started playing up a bit, but I gave it to a friend of mine to use, and it's still working. So yeah, no, I love it. And I bought the Behringer 8-track. It's a lot cheaper, but it gave me another 8 tracks, and I just run it as a slave off the Scarlett. So it's terrific.
Actually, you know what? I think it was called the Thunderbird. I think it was a step up from the Scarlett 18920. And
that's the better model.
Industry standard, as they would call it. So
yeah. Ooh.
I mean, something is, but I thought about it, but I thought the 18920 would be good enough. But that was when I was being young and stupid, think I could try the whole studio deal, which maybe at some point, I don't know. But right now, I keep myself a little too busy. As I'm sure you keep yourself busy as well. So
yeah, finding time for music. I do find time for music. I wish I had more time, but no, I don't wish I did. It's just you just have lots of facets to your life, don't you? I think
something like that. But I think this one here could get a little deep. But for music, strictly, I guess. What was it really that wanted to keep you going to always come back to music? Because it seems like in your life, you've kind of been in and out of it a little bit. So what really kept you going?
A couple of things, I think. I don't know. I mean, how do you explain that? I just have to do it to feel complete. I have to be making music to feel complete. That I've realised that, and I accept it, and that's just the way I am. And there's also that thing when you do a live show, if you do a live gig with a band, there are these, or even sometimes when you're rehearsing, there are these mystical moments that most people would understand where you're all completely in sync, but it's not just the music. It's more than that. It's like a telepathic or an energy link, and it's fleeting. Like you only feel these things for seconds probably, but I don't know, that is like the biggest high that you can get.
Yeah, I kind of understand there too, especially I guess even when you're doing on the stage there too, the adrenaline and all the other stuff kind of kicks in there too. So I was going to say you lose yourself. That's sort of the other two. You just let go. Some sort of spiritual being takes over if we wanted to get that far deep, to be honest. So,
well, I don't know. You could. I don't know. I say that music is good for my soul, and it's not. My soul is not balanced or right unless it has music in it in some form, and especially creating music. I wasn't aware of it, but because Kerry sits in the studio with me quite often when I'm doing things, I get into this state where I get it's an adrenaline, excitement, creative madness, whatever, and I start breathing really fast. Apparently, like I'm not even aware of it. Like this really unhealthy sort of fast breathing thing. But it's like a state that I get into, I think. So, it's not something I can control. I've tried. She'll whack me on the arm because I'll have headphones on. She'll go breathing fast, and I'll try and slow it down, but it just goes back to I can't seem to function without getting into that state sort of thing. So I don't mind. I accept that as well. That's just me, crazy old fuck.
I guess so. So I can relate there too, especially some of I would say, whenever you do play metal music, I don't know if you ever really did get to like the heavier metal and that sort of stuff. It's definitely a whole lot more breathing and a whole lot more sweat and a little bit of soreness that kind of goes into it too. So
yeah. Well, I've not been into heavy metal, but I've played when I used to fly to work. We had a band where I worked, but you're talking, you do a nighttime gig, it would be over 100 degrees Fahrenheit at night. So, and we're playing the sort of high energy rock music, Deep Purple, Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters, all that sort of stuff. And I'm doing lead vocals on at least half of it and playing the drums. That saps your energy.
That's cool.
I would love to be that fit now.
I would be 20 years younger again, so I have to force myself to be that way. So, because apparently standards don't like me anymore. So, it's something like that. So, actually, have you written any lyrics for like any original material that maybe you've created or maybe contributed to any of your bands in the past?
I've written loads of my own songs that I've done, lyrics and music. With that band Hybrid I was telling you about, there was a couple of songs I wrote lyrics on that we did. I've always contributed, just because I'll hear things that might need to change, or I think would be better in the arrangement, or I've always contributed. But I've done a lot of my own songs, 100% me, with a bit of Kerry's help.
She has a little magic flavor to it too, so that's cool.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, the whip.
That comes later. That's meant to come later.
Oh yeah, I wasn't meant to mention any of that stuff on air. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, that's a good entertainment value right there. So that's all good. But actually, some of the lyrics that you have written for your material, I guess, what do you normally like to delve into? Trying to go back to the old classic rock with sex, drugs, rock and roll?
No, I don't know. No, they can be quite deep, my lyrics, which is weird because I'm a bit of a scatty person. But I try to write uplifting songs, even if they're about subject matter that might not be the most uplifting subject matter. I always try and put a positive spin on things. That's kind of how I try and live my life. So I've been writing a lot in the last 6 or 7 years and just trying to put positivity into everything. I did a concept album that I sort of dreamed up when I was on a plane, and it's all about, it's an apocalyptic thing where a lot of numbers get taken out and what's left has to sort of rebuild, and it ends up rebuilding into a place that doesn't have anger and war and suffering. Really, that's what I'd love to see. it's unrealistic. Humans are flawed, you know, but it's a nice fantasy to have.
One can certainly dream, though I think you're listening to John Lennon maybe a little too much. So
I mean, I'm a bit of an old hippie at heart, in a way.
Make love, not war. We got to do that. We got to get that motto out there, to be honest. So
yeah.
Okay, dude. So we keep trucking along, the good soldier. We appreciate everything that you're doing out there, Harro.
Thank you.
No worries. But we have some questions here pretty good. So, hey, let's jump into some extra fun ones. Ready?
Go for your life.
Okay. So, I guess outside of music and maybe a little pub drinking and that sort of stuff, I guess, what do you do in terms of hobbies?
Well, as you know, I'm playing golf this morning. That's one of my hobbies. I love playing golf. I'm very average at it, but I enjoy it. And we moved into this house. We're in. We just worked out it's nearly 4 years we've been here now, and we're constantly, or we've been refurbishing it slowly and making it our own. So a lot of time goes into that yard work that I was telling you about, that we're having, digging out some of the backyard that broke the sewer pipe, which was why I couldn't talk to you yesterday. That's where we're going to set up a vegetable garden and you know, run that with rainwater. And so we're trying to be a little bit self-sufficient and get ourselves so we can feed ourselves, so to speak, to a point. So there's been a lot of renovations on the house. We've still got to redo the bathroom, which neither of us have done. So, you know, there's a lot of YouTubing has gone on. I've never been the greatest home handyman, but I've learned here, and it's been challenging and really really enjoyable. So, and that's it. That and my music. Those things and my music are. And we do catch up with our families a lot, because both of us, even though Kerry and I, well, I'm 60 now. All our parents are still alive, so we're very lucky. So we try and catch up with them as much as we can, because we don't know how long they're going to be around for. So, and our kids as well. We both got 2 kids each, so they're not kids, but you know, they're always your kids.
They're strictly younger than us, and technically I made you, so you're my kid in that case. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's my fault. You're like you are. Yeah.
Unfortunately. Actually, what was that Bobcat bulldozer doing in your backyard? Was it meant to check out that pipe and it accidentally damaged it?
No, we didn't think it was the main sewage pipe, so it happened the day before, I think. Yeah, he's digging down, so I'm going to put a retaining wall in and put some steps down, and that's where we'll have our veggie garden. But we found all sorts of things that we didn't think would be there as he's dug down, sort of thing. So the area's got smaller. The sewage pipe got broken. We didn't think it was the main sewage pipe, because there was a couple of old, I don't know what you call them there, septic tanks. Do you have, you know, where you bury a concrete tank, and in the old days all your shit used to go in there?
Yeah, there's only some houses. I think a lot of houses, and even in my neck of the woods, it's all the shit just comes together to a sewer line that just works its way to the main shit house, if we want to call it that.
Yeah, well, these were little concrete tanks that would be buried in your backyard, and all your shit would go in there, and then every now and then you'd have to get them pumped out. Well, there was 2 of them that we didn't know were underground. They're not in use, but they're still there, and we couldn't. They're pretty dense concrete. They're too hard to bust them up, so we're leaving that part higher up. So he's dug down about 1 metre, but yeah, took out the sewage pipe on the way through.
What are we going to do with you all? So,
well, we're lucky because a friend is a plumber. So I was on the phone to him, and he came straight around pretty much and fixed it up for us straight away. So we're very lucky. Kerry took him some pumpkin soup and some honey chicken yesterday to put in his freezer as a thank you.
A little payment in advance there too. So
yeah.
I mean, hey, it's one way to pay. So All right. I get to see you got that resolved there too. So
Yeah.
I guess I know you mentioned about YouTubing, especially when you're going to start remodeling the bathroom, all the places. I guess have you kind of gotten used to the whole thing with social media and even to a certain extent AI at this point, or do you still a little perplexed by everything that's come about the last 20 years?
No, I'm pretty up with it. Pretty up with it. I mean, I'm probably not like others. There's some platforms I've never used TikTok or I don't even know what others there are, but I mean, we've both used AI. I've started using AI for my album cover art now because you get pretty good results from it, and I can't draw for shit. You know, that's not my artistic gene. Isn't in designing or anything like that. So I think that's a good tool. And we used Kerry used Chat GPT when we went to the States last year to sort of map out a bit of a tour that we could do after the gig. And so yeah, we both use the tools. I won't use it for music, but I will use it for album art or single art, whatever.
That's probably a good thing in there too. Don't want to incorporate too much into the music unless you strictly have to, because I have interviewed other people who've used at least a little bit of AI to a certain extent, a good bit of AI in their music to kind of help out. So love to see what happens at that point, but to each their own.
It's just the way the world's evolving, isn't it? I think it's going to happen. I mean, it's an age thing probably too with me. I'm old school. I still like people to make mistakes, you know, so something's a bit raw and it's not perfect. And so much of the music now is so in a box perfect with completely straight edges that it doesn't do anything to my musical funny bone sort of thing. So
yeah, you're right about that. So I have to say, tread carefully, good soldier, in that case, with the whole AI and social media there too. So right.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of food, I guess I'm curious if there's a particular dish I haven't heard about yet, but you got a favorite food?
I was thinking about that question. I did think about these questions actually. I just didn't write anything down, but I wouldn't have one favourite. It's hard to go past a really nicely cooked piece of fillet steak, I think. And pretty much anything with mashed potatoes, I'm happy. I love mashed potatoes. That must be the English in me, I think. Or maybe the Irish. I've got a little bit of Irish blood too, so it could be that.
Also might explain the accent too, so.
It could do, yeah.
Yeah, we can see it now. Okay, we can see it. So, actually, I was going to say, we do our steak dishes because my second job is a part-time job. And our steak dishes is either a filet or a strip steak. And then you get the mashed potatoes and then some sprouts you get two sides. So it comes with a good price tag, but it's totally worth it. We definitely try to make sure we match everyone's expectations. So,
well, you cook that. I'm coming to your place for dinner then.
Yeah, quite a road trip ahead of you there, buddy, but you're welcome to stay at my place and eat at my place too. So let me know if you ever want to come out.
Thank you. Yeah, and same for you if you ever come to little old Coolin. And if you do speak to Stephen, he'll tell you how much he loves this place. Thanks. He absolutely has fallen in love with this little town because the people are so genuine and friendly and welcoming. So,
speaking of devil, so actually, I'm curious. He actually hasn't tried to maybe move out there. Maybe that's what he's doing. He was probably trying to find a house or do a little house hunting, try to get out of the UK. That sort of deal. So,
I think. Well, he's got a little home there with his wife, so I don't think they're going to uproot their home, but he'd love to come here, I reckon.
Probably. Leave it up to him. All right.
Yeah.
But all great choices. You know, for Australia, I know you want to invite me out and try to also see Australia there too. I think one of the trips, they'll focus on the main city, so I don't know how far Perth is from Sydney, Brisbane. I was trying to remember what the other one was.
Adelaide.
Adelaide. Adelaide, yeah. So I
And
guess, I don't
Melbourne.
know. And Melbourne, yeah, Melbourne. That's what I was thinking of. So
Yeah.
I guess, how far away are you from those places?
A long way. So, well, firstly, Coolum, where I live, is about a 3-hour drive from Perth City. So we're a little bit out of the city. Perth is from Sydney. Well, that's the city that most people know. I think it's about 5,000 kilometres, which is how many miles? 4,000 miles. Is that right?
I would always say, I thought when it was kilometers, it would be like sort of double that. How many kilometers did you say?
5,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be
no. It's about 3,000 miles. Sorry, 3,000 miles to Sydney. Yeah.
So you got an extensive country there, buddy. So yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, to drive, I live in Western Australia. To drive, if you drove a car from the bottom of Western Australia to the top, it's going to take you probably wouldn't do it in 3 days.
So,
it's a big country.
You got a little bit of a road trip. So
yeah.
I know we've been looking at trying to come out to Australia, but it seems like when you fly all the way out there, so this is like basically a 2-day flight, you have to maybe go over and see New Zealand afterwards. So let's put that on the list. But
it's a big trip. But and what to see in Australia is, I mean, it's like when we came to the US. Like, what do we go and see? It's so big and vast, and there's so many different things to see. You've got to sort of think about what appeals to you and pick those things, I guess.
I guess so. But do you know another music producer by name Paul Fraser Clark? I think he also resides in Perth as well.
No, I don't. No.
I said look it up. He's another bloke out of Australia there too. So I interviewed him a while back.
Paul Fraser Clark. I will. I'll look it up.
All right. I'll probably send you a link afterwards, but I'll give a shout out to Paul right there too. He helped me out with making music for one of my other albums I did a while back. So
yeah, okay. Yeah. Hi, Paul.
If he ever sees this. Hi, Paul. So, all right. Not too sure if you guys did any movies or TV shows, but I guess what's your favorite movie? And I guess if you have a favorite TV show, feel free to share.
Favorite movie? That's a hard one. I don't think I could narrow it down to one. Old one I love is The Untouchables. That's an old one. More recent ones, you don't see many. I actually don't think there's that many good movies nowadays. They're all a bit contrived in a way. So I'll try and think of ones that had an impact on me. I don't go to the movies much now, and I don't watch. I more watch series nowadays. So I suppose the best series that Kerry and I have seen is The Handmaid's Tale, I reckon.
That's a good one. I have to probably check it out, but I think unfortunately, people then get a little disturbed when they start seeing how the TV show kind of becomes relatable in real life, to say the least.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of sort of COVID-ness about the whole story in a way. In a way. If you watch it, you'd know what I'm talking about, I guess. But what else have we watched that's... Well, we've been watching it. It's a weird one, but you're kind of enjoyable. The Yellow Jackets.
I've heard about it. I have not watched it, but I thought it was like one of those supernatural monsters, like Wendigos, or something's involved with it, or something supernatural is going on there.
Well, sort of. It's only on the fringes of it. It's more about the darkness of humans, I think. Sort of. It's kind of a... I don't know. I don't even know if it's enjoyable, but you have to keep watching it, if that makes sense.
I mean, it must be doing something right if you're still watching it, so they probably got you in some sort of way.
Well, there's another season in being made, but whether we kind of skip from one streaming service to the other because I don't like paying 1,000 subscriptions every month, you know. So whether we get to see it or not, we'll see.
I think it's Tubi that's the free one, but I think they'll only give you some of the more older stuff they did way back in the day. So
yeah, I do watch that occasionally. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. All right.
yeah.
All good choices. And for the last of the fun questions, I guess who you been listening to a good bit recently, regardless if they're independent or considered mainstream?
Who have I been listening to? I have like my like songs playlist that I listen to a lot on Spotify, and so that skips around. That's got all sorts from the 60s to independent music from this year in it. What interesting thing we listened to? Kerry put it on the other day. Neil Diamond's latest album, which only come out this year, and he's well into his 80s, and so we had to listen. But it wasn't. It was good, but it was kind of stripped back and not very inventive. I didn't think, not compared to his old stuff, but that was pretty good. I used to listen to my Spotify release radar every Friday. I tried to do it, and that would be all independent artists that I follow. I just haven't done it much lately. I've just been otherwise engaged, and I'd like to get back into that because I really do enjoy doing that. But I need to have the time and the focus to do it rather than feeling rushed. But there's no one person I'm listening to. I suppose I'm listening to Burlos Brotherhood a lot because we're in the throes of making all these songs.
We give ourselves our own streams because we got used to just listening to it so much. So yeah.
I've got a brand new one as well that is about that far off being finished now. So I've been had that going in my head, and yeah, and it rattles around in my head all the time. So I don't know if you write your own music, but it tends to consume your brain at times, so you can't focus on other things.
Well, I'm not at the point of trying to do guitar, so I always find someone to do the guitar work for me, and then we try to go from there. I throw in the drums and some vocals, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But mine's more on the heavy metal side. So not too sure how you all dig it. So it's up to you if you want to listen to it or not. So
I will check your stuff out because I don't know. I'm just sort of try to keep an open mind and learn from everyone and everything that you hear, meet, see, do. Keep your mind open.
All right, thank you though. But if you're interested, I'll send you some links afterwards of the projects I'm currently in right now. So
please do. Yeah, love to hear it.
All right, sounds good. All right, so Harro, we're down to one more question by podcast. I guess before we jump into it, would you like to ask me any questions real quick?
No, I've got nothing at the moment. No. If I think of anything, I'll ask you later in the chat.
I'd be like, it came down later that night. He'd be like, bollocks. I forgot to ask him that question.
That was a pretty bad English accent, but I didn't mind it.
actually, I'd be like, bollocks. That whole deal. I'm afraid I forgot to ask him that question. Be like, fucking hell. That whole deal.
That's more like a fucking hell. I forgot. Yeah.
I'd be like, you're a fucking wanker. That whole deal. So we tried the whole deal. I'm probably not doing it justice right now there too, but a friend of mine used to critique me on having that English sort of accent there too. So
it's about as good as my American accent would be. So well done.
I'd say ours would be like, don't be a jag off. That whole deal in my neck of the woods. So we tend to
jag off.
A stupid person. Sort of that whole deal. So
yeah, right. So, don't be a jag off. Was that good?
We're working on it. So, or Yin's guys. We'll make it work. So, but unfortunately, I think if you say it to the wrong person, they're probably going to take it the wrong way. So, tread carefully with that word. So,
it's all right. Well, we drop the C-bomb a lot in America because we know that it's generally not liked over there. But we ended up getting the people around us to absolutely love it. It's used as a term of endearment here, and it's quite comical.
Actually, we thank Game of Thrones for that, since that really seemed to popularize that word, to say the least. So. What are they doing? Tripping their C-word cunt hairs, that whole deal. So. Actually, I think I did say it right there too. So sorry. So actually, that was a villain's last words. Was like famous last words would be like, "What were they doing? Trimming their cunt hairs?" So.
Well, here it's used like, oh, Bill, he's a cunt, and you go, well, yeah, but is he a good cunt or is he a bad cunt? There's a big difference, and just by adding those words. So if you go, oh, Bill, he's a good cunt, then you know that he's solid, he's trustable and worthy.
He's got some interesting or unique sort of tendencies or something. That's the way they can sound like. So it's weird, probably is probably that's a clean way of putting it. So I don't know. But all right. But to the audience, sorry we had to drop that word right there too, which is two blokes having some fun right here. So
yeah. It's all about fun. Life should be fun.
Well, I'll see how you think about this question here too, because this one is going to get a little deep and personal. But here's how it goes. All right. So given the amount of negativity we kind of see going on in the States, I don't know how much negativity you got going on in Australia, but given the amount of negativity in the world that's been kind of going on these days, people need some sort of hope. So what would be your message of hope for musicians and people out there so they can move forward with their lives?
I can only pass on how I'm trying to live mine, or we're trying to live our lives now, and that is to well, we don't watch the nightly news, or we don't watch news channels at all. We get whatever's going on in the world, we find out because people tell you, or occasionally you read something somewhere. But I'm actually, not to say I don't care, but I'm not interested in the negative bullshit that's going on all over the place. I'm aware of it. I am absolutely aware of it, but we just live our life. We keep our circle of friends small and worthy, and we have a simple thing. If somebody starts detracting from your life, they're out of your circle. That's it. Gone. Keep your circle small, keep your family close, and adult when you have to. The rest of the time, be a big kid and fucking enjoy yourself. That would be my advice to everybody on the planet. You don't know how long you're here, and you don't know if you're coming back, really. Doesn't matter what you believe in, you're never sure. So I think enjoy it while you're here. We're lucky to have this consciousness about us, so enjoy your life.
In that case, spoken like a true prodigy. So, yeah.
Thank you. And just out of interest, of just the song that I'm writing at the moment, the first lines are, "I'm worried about the world, it's going to shit." So I am aware of what's going on.
At least what we're seeing physically on the news, that sort of stuff. So sorry for that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not too bad in Australia right there too. So keep the negativity out of that place. So.
Yeah, I mean, we have ours here too, but it's a bit crazy in your neck of the woods lately, isn't it?
Don't remind me. So.
Mm.
Right.
Oh, well, as long as you stay safe and happy, that's the main thing.
I try to, but unfortunately, humanity tries to make me more of a nihilist, to be honest. So.
Yeah. So. It does a bit, doesn't it?
Absolutely. All right. But Harro, we have reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked a little over an hour and 20-some minutes. I guess before we close out, would you like to give it any shout-outs to anybody?
Oh, well, shout out to the Burlos Brotherhood, but they've had shout-outs. Shout out to my mate Nevin and Lisa and Dave, who run OTAT radio station. They're special people to me. So, and there'd be loads of others. Anyone I met at Punk in the Corn, that I've met personally, hello to you. And that's it. Hello, world. Listen to my music, you cunts.
It's more like, listen to this old bastard play that he'll do. So, was playing with other couple bunch of old bastards too. So in a good way. We say that in a good way. So they said the British are term a good way there too, where it's the sarcastic funny. So we don't want people to get the wrong idea. So
yeah. No, well, I'm rarely serious, so it's good. And a shout out to you, Brian. Thanks for taking the time to putting your time into this and trying to help people and doing what you love as well.
That's right. So unfortunately, God damn it for the guy who ruined your pipe. I actually got home at the right time there too. I just needed to freshen up and just get ready. So
I know.
That's what happened the other night. So yeah.
I wasn't expecting to see my morning shit floating in the backyard either. So, it was sort of caught us both on the hop.
But we got to work out the editors. That's all that matters. All right.
Brilliant. Thanks for your patience.
No worries. Actually, just real quick, can you just tell the audience what streaming platforms and social media you're on so I can check you out and interact? Yeah,
so I'm on Facebook as Harro. You look for a picture of this bald guy, looks like this, without the glasses. And I'm on all the streaming platforms, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel. I'm not very dedicated to that. I probably should put more effort into it, but you can find me all over the place. Just look for the bald guy. There's quite a few artists called Harro, which is a bit of a pain. That means when people search, you're down the bottom of the list, but just look for the bald guy, and that'll be the one.
I can definitely say you got dual identity without the hat and glasses. I'll tell you that much. So, all right, that's all good. So let me just close out like this real quick. So everyone, my guest today was Harro. He's hailing from the lovely country of Australia, on the western half, we should say. So he's part of his own little group, just strictly Harro, or I don't know if is it like Harro and like the. And actually, it's also Burlow's Brotherhood there too. So that's why.
Yeah, that's a separate thing, and my own stuff I just do myself. But sometimes I'll have a guest artist or whatever, and yeah.
I appreciate it's going to be Harlo and the Old Bastards, that whole deal.
Yeah. So. That might be the next group.
At some point. When he's 70 years old, too. So that seems to be what a lot of the British people seem to do. They seem to go well past their 70s, and even some artists around the world there, too, and even in your neck of the woods there, too. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, you just keep going, don't you? That's what you love. Keep going.
Absolutely. But you got to check out Harro right here on the socials, all streaming platforms. Make sure you also support the Burlow's Brotherhood there too with Joe Boo, and also Burlow's band as Steven, as we would also say, and Frank. We'll get Frank a shout out here too. So, but Harro, thank you again so much again for coming on here, mate. So stay safe because it is one pretty fucked up world there, mate. Not God. Lastly, strike a pose for the people. Stay tuned, yo.
Thank you.